Hello once again, and you're welcome to Teens Connect, a very enthralling and educative show where we're going to talk about issues that pertain to our life. Today we've got a topic that we can all relate to. It means keeping our attitudes and our behaviors in school amidst the pressure of our friends. And today I've got with me Acheze, I've got with me Nancy, and I've also got Brian. We've got Pastor Nimaku, who I'd like you to get to know better. All right, Pastor Nimaku, you're welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
Doing some background research, I hear you are an old Adisco boy, you're a Santa Clausian.
Yeah, that's right.
Great
Adisco.
Why Adisco?
I mean, if I never attended that school, it would have been another story altogether.
I see.
So for me, respect Adisco.
I see. Acheze.
I'm a student of the school on the Kwabotri Hills.
I see.
Infantipim School.
So why Infantipim?
I mean, it's a brand, the best school in Ghana.
What makes you the best?
Everything makes Infantipim the best.
So will you say
we have produced the greatest man in Ghana?
Who?
Kofi Annan. Yes, we produced him. I mean, who has gone further than Kofi Annan? Nobody. Case closed.
So what makes you think Adisco is a better school? Infantipim is a better school than Adisco?
Almost all the Adisco boys are criminals.
Oh, like who?
Namwai.
Pastor, what do you have to say to that?
You know, he has just ignited the that fight has always been there, between Adisco and Infantipim. But I didn't know when they found themselves on some hill. I don't know which hill he's talking about, but Adisco has always been on the hill. You understand? From Adisco you could see just directly, Infantipim. I don't know what he described as a hill. Maybe he's confused a bit, but that's okay. But that's okay.
You can actually, if you read the history of our school, our school is called Butche because it is built on a hill called Kwabuchi.
Yes, anyway, I'm asking which hill is that, because we don't find that hill. That's the point I am making.
It is a hill. I mean, Adisada is not the only school.
Looking at it from, is it the front view, the back view? I mean, where exactly?
You can ask the St. Augustine's boys. They see our school from their school. They see it on top, and we see their school below.
You see, so it depends on where you stand.
Yes. I see. Nancy, you're engaged here, right?
Yes.
I see.
You see, no wonder she found herself, trying to. Well, that's okay.
Yes, Mubagehe, the best alliance in the country. Mubagehe. No alliance is better than this alliance.
I see. Brian, you go to St. Peter's. I hear you guys are very dull and reserved. You are more action guys.
We are gentlemen.
You are gentlemen.
It's a lie.
Unlike the boys who think they're on top of the world because they're on a small hill. Have you seen a hill before?
No, see.
Have you seen a hill before?
Let me tell you one thing about St. Peter's. They're on a hill because of that. St. Peter's boys say they don't bath.
No, wait. We're on a hill because you're on top. You can't get above us. You can't get below. You can't get above us. You're just below us.
Yeah,
you can't be
still
bath.
Still we bath.
But we also bath. But later in the day, we don't bath in the morning because you have class. You go bath in the morning, so you skip class.
If you bath and you cannot dress well, that's also another big issue.
We dress very well. Don't
talk about that. Their colors. They will put on. Let me forget about the shoes. But they put on a khaki trousers, and your khaki trousers will be brown, and then they would put on a white shirt and a black and red tie.
Look at
that. How can you dress like that?
Then we go black trousers.
We had to push them to change it.
We go black trousers, white shirts, and our school tie, which is still red and black.
So you I said until recently, and we had to push them hard. Because once they found themselves in Cape Coast, it will cast a snare on us as well. Yeah. So we needed to push them to do the right thing. How can you go? We go for interzonas and things like that. We have buddies there. When we meet and you want to flex a bit, and they join the group, and you look at their shadow and it's like, boy. And they needed to do something about it. But I'm glad the school finally will do that.
Yes, and it's good. It was dream. I didn't kind of miss the tall. Yes, I get to miss the nice one.
And how about the funeral attire? The red shirts.
Let me tell you one thing about the red shirts. The red shirts does magic.
Hey.
Yes, it's a very unique uniform. Look, the one thing about our school uniform, apart from Infantipim and Adisado, every school shares uniform with another school. No other schools wears red and black. No other schools wear zebra. Apart from the two of us, per school, you get somebody who wears the same colors with you. Or gas school put they share uniform with about 100 schools. So that red shirt is a very unique shirt. And when you have it on, oh my goodness.
But I heard the color is not red.
Yes, the color is not even red. It's crimson. Yeah. So please, it's not funeral colors. Yeah. Funeral colors is red and black. Ours is crimson and black.
That's what happens when you have a lawyer, you understand? So it's okay. Oh. We understand.
but let's cast ourselves back to memory lane, down memory lane. How's your experience? Let me start with Brian. How's your experience going back to school? When you started school, the first time they dropped you in Equator, how did it feel like?
That was about like 2 years ago, around September. Yes, September. Boy, it was not easy. See my parents drop me was a very nice scene, but seeing them going, boy, you can just feel some tears coming out from the eye. It's not easy, it's not easy. It's very sorrowful, but we are out of it now. Now we are the leaders of the school, so.
Yeah. Nancy.
Okay, so mine was very, very painful. I go to the same school with my sister, so when our parents are about to leave, and they wanted us to say the grace. While we're saying the grace, you could hear like us crying. But then we got over it that day, yes. You have to accept it like that. But then ever since that time, when I was going through the next time, I didn't cry. Like I was like, okay, they are going, bye.
Oh, okay.
And just then.
I see. Actually,
with mine, I think I went to school at the wrong time. Because okay, when I go to school, thankfully, I saw my JHS classmates. I just saw them. I told my mom that I've seen my JHS classmates. They stopped for me to talk to them, and then we went to the administration block. Everything, we did everything. We came to my house. Luckily for me, my house master was also an Adventist. So he received me nicely. When we were going, they looked at my face and they realized that, no, this boy wants to go home with us. So my mother actually asked me that, do I want to go home? I said no. The most annoying part of it was that day, that very day, I don't know what we did at prep. The seniors were just worrying us. The next day we had inspection. My first day in school, inspection.
Actually,
it was hell.
On my first day, I got bitten by some weird animal.
The scorpion?
A scorpion ant. Yes.
Wow.
It was very, very painful because I actually couldn't step on my leg. It was so painful. And yeah.
In Cape Coast, those are certain things you can experience. You know, I quickly had to go into that. Those are, sometimes after preps, you get somebody crying and shouting. Next thing you know, it's a scorpion bite or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but.
Well, Pastor, how about you? How's your first day in school?
Whoa, that should be. Next year, my batch will be in charge of the speech day.
Okay.
I decided after 25 years.
Wow.
Then you go back to host the speech day. And that's why at this school, people think it should be turned to a university, you understand? Because we don't share houses. If it has 3 stories for one house, and we have about 11, 12 of them, you understand? And it's a vast area. And so it's been like almost 25 years since I left school, right? But I still remember the very first day, like today. Yeah, I remember when I was dropped and we had to do everything we had to do. And Dad and Mom were like, now we have to go kind of thing. And so when they would drive in the driveway and I saw the car and they would be leaving the scene, I'm like, where am I? That kind of feeling. And just there and then, I heard one of the seniors shout from the dormitory, cry! Like everything in me was away. I felt so empty, so scared. And luckily for me, I don't know, but there is this senior I remember so well, came to me and then took all the money in my pocket. Yes, but for the good reason. He took the money. And I could recognize him because I had some friends who were ahead of me in that house, Jubilee House. So once I could make him out, they could get my money for me. But what he did was the right thing for me. Otherwise, the seniors would have taken everything from me, because from where I stood and the car left to get to the staircase and go to my dormitory, which was the upper dorm, this one meets you and like money, you know, and they will search me and there's nothing. So I went through like that. So in the night, the guy brought me the money when I had not even looked for him. And so he saved me and saved me of that money. And so I remember that very afternoon. It was, but later on, you know, when I got to know, when I started roaming around and trying to see, I'm having a sight and scene of Adisada, I realized I was at the right place.
Very funny.
I realized I was at the right place. You know, let me share this. I remember when it was time for us to fill out our forms and, you know, for placement. Yeah. I went home. Of course, I needed to discuss that with my parents. And my mom mentioned infanticide. I wept. I cried. I said, Mom, how can you even bring up that discussion, that kind of negotiation? So I thank God my parents will take me to Adisada.
Me too, when I was choosing. I said at this school. My mother said no. If my son goes to a disco, you come back a weed smoker. No.
Wow, really?
Yes. Almost all my cousins told me that at this school, if I go there, I'll become a bad boy.
If it was, I guess it was a propaganda.
Was it a propaganda? It is true. At this school, boys are bad boys.
If you go and come back, you'll be gay.
I'm not gay. Am I gay?
How quick you are to say, am I gay? Yeah. I mean, those are propaganda. Because for me, if you want me to mention friends who were, and you know, we are very close to, sometimes you find the heat between us, but we're very close, you know, as in friends and stuff like that. As for that, it could, you know, it's a bad thing, but it cuts across. Where, you know, you find bits and pieces of some of these things, you know, in and around some of the schools.
Except
but
gay.
Gay.
Yeah.
Really? You know that you don't smoke, but let's
Let's move away from that. Let's move away. Let's listen to yes, Pastor Nwoko on the floor.
No, but that's just about it. I'm just saying that, you know, you can find some weird characters in and around some of the schools, but I mean, it's for the fun of it. But everybody should be proud of the alma mater. You understand? That's where you've been able to make it up to this. But this is very characteristic of schools in Central Region. Yeah, we are used to that kind of, you know. But we are very cool.
Yeah, isolated. You see,
but let's go back. I want to ask: do you feel you are adequately prepared for school life? How has it been? Brian, were you prepared well enough for school by your parents?
Okay, I was prepared in terms of like provisions and stuff.
But mentally, morally, did they?
Okay, they sat me down and gave me a discussion, a talk on who to follow, how to choose friends and stuff. So I feel I was kind of prepared, but I was not prepared for what was ahead of me. Because you hear and see school as something that everybody's talking about, but when you enter, before you know the real deal.
Yeah, actually, what do you think they could have done to have prepared you better?
Okay, maybe those things they do, that are bad thing they do to us. Everywhere you are going, they want to take you there. If they had allowed me to be going to places on my own, because when I'm going to school, I go on my, when I'm coming back, I come on my own. So they should have started earlier.
They were protecting you.
Nancy, how about you? What could you have done to prepare you better?
Oh, I was prepared, but then, you know, the school we are going to, we didn't really know what is going to happen. But then, I think if I knew, I'd have been very prepared. But then, the preparation they gave to us was very great.
I see. So, Pastor, how about you?
Yeah, you know, in this part of our world, even right from this, you know, as you transit, like from the JHS to the SHS, even in the school, you know, counseling is very poor. it's just like a struggle. You struggle to find something. If you're able to make your grades, then you find yourself going a particular pattern. You understand? It really didn't, because for me, I chose science. I chose science because I felt I was doing well, all right? And when I went to Addis, I had science, and I was doing science. But there was, and you don't find this in most schools, even now that information is very much available. You still don't find that kind of system very prevalent in our schools. So it's just like you have to put bits and pieces together to pick what to do. And you find that most of our parents do not have so much stake in some of this. Even the teachers who are teaching you are not up to it. How much more parents? They also go on the line. If you're making it in this area, then it means that this is where you want to. And many a times it has not happened that way. So it was just like that for me. You understand? And so to going to school, those pep talks, when you go, be careful of bad friends, and those were good, but they were not enough to prepare us for what was ahead of us. And even in the school, when we have gotten to school, it's virtually the same thing. You know, I don't know of today, but I don't think it will be too different from what we experienced. So it's just purely by dint of hard work and maximum grace of God that has gotten us to, because you don't really find the structures taken care either at home, at church, or in the schools.
I see. But Brian, what are some of the moral problems you face in school? Have you ever had a chance of where somebody tells you to do something wrong? What are some of the things that people ask you to do?
Okay, phones are not allowed in school. Well, I've been sent severally to go and charge phones and stuff. I'm a junior, so I don't know what, like, if I say no, what will be for me? I can't bear it, so I'll just have to just deal with it. So I just go and charge the phones and then bring them back when it's time. Then I've also been sent, my school father was, like, the school father I had previously was a weed smoker. So one day in the dorm, around 1 a.m., I just woke up and I saw him just rolling something in the paper. I was like, I was going to give it to someone. I told him I was not feeling well. I had this terrible cold and stuff, and I started coughing. And he said, okay, I should go and sleep.
So were you actually have a cold, or you wanted to avoid?
Pretended.
I see. Actually, have you ever faced something similar?
Yeah, mine. The senior had just come from town, and he had a phone on him. And if he goes, because he's a Form T boy, the teachers will search him for a phone. So he gave me the phone. He said I should follow him. That since I'm a Form 1 boy, the teachers will search me for a phone because I'm in Form 1. So he made me follow him with his phone to his dormitory. Then I gave it to him.
Wow, I see. Nancy.
No, please.
Yeah, and the girls too.
We are good girls. We don't do anything wrong. So
I see.
No.
Not one that you know.
Not one that you know.
Let me say it like that.
But even in dealing with seniors, Pastor, what do you advise? Like Brian's situation where he pretended he was sick. There's some stuff that seniors will tell us to do that are bad. I mean, how do we handle these things?
Okay, so I will speak from the point of view that I have benefit of hindsight, you know. And so what I just want to say is that I have gone through the system, and I do, maybe you're still in school or you have just left school. Could be your situation, but like I said, I've been out of school in the last 25 years. If you talk about SHS, you understand. And so I look back and see the story clearer. And so I would go with what he did. You only have to stand your grounds, because it could get you into trouble. So dealing with seniors and school mothers and school fathers and things like that. You see, people have become what they are, especially in the light of the negativities, because of some, decisions school fathers and mothers would have them make and things like that. So those systems are there, but you only have to stand your grounds to not to do what you have to do. So for example, if it has to do with the fact that this your school mother, and your school mother says, come sleep with me in my tent, it should clearly tell you what you are in for. And people have ended up becoming lesbians and experiencing it because of that. And like he said, take this road to the other friend, and he knew exactly what he was given to him. If he was so naive and ignorant, probably he would have taken it to him. In that process, he could be caught with it. How do you explain it? All right? And you could have given it to the senior. And sometimes they push you to have either a puff or something, you know, and you would have been coerced to do it. There are two things in there for you: either to continue for the rest of your life, or you will show great displeasure for it because the first time was a no thing for you. And so experiences with seniors and some of these things, they are so prevalent in our schools. It does happen, but I think that the only thing is that you have to stand your ground. So therefore, if we are going to school and some of these realities are told to us, you understand, we get to understand what sometimes happen in schools, not just the peripheral of it, like the surfaces of it, where you go, take good care of yourself, don't join bad friends, don't do this, don't do. But what exactly is in it? If I have a bad friend, sometimes many parents will not take time to maybe disintegrate them and tell them one by one to you. And so I think it was a good example he set, and I think many should follow that example.
I see. All right. Now, Pastor, has anyone ever been enjoying some form of a demonstration in school? Brian, Achese, Pastor, how about you? Demonstration in school, what does the Bible say about it?
No, we have not. In my whole period in Adisadel, there was nothing like a demonstration. You understand? And proud to my being there, I didn't know of any that had happened. And when I left school, I have not heard of any.
Like riots and hula.
No. But those ones I've experienced is, you know, sometimes, especially those of us in the lower school, you know, in Adisadel we have the upper school and the lower school. The 83 stairs, the staircase that is dividing us. And so, you know, sometimes we have Adisadel village. I remember one evening we were there and we were attacked by residents of the Adisadel village, you know. And at this school, once we are in trouble and they go ring the bell, that big bell, it is rung once. When there is an emergency and we're in trouble, we have been attacked or something, it's just rung once, like king, and you hear the shout, falling. I don't know where that spirit comes from, but whoever is attacking us, you are in trouble. Sometimes I even find some very quiet guys in school, and when we have been attacked like that and they are defending at this school, sometimes I even get shocked. Where is this strength coming from? And so there was one that I experienced, and after that, the boys who want to do more, now we have to block when we push them out of the school. Now we have to block, you know, if you know at this school, the stadium, where we have Solace, that road that links the Accra Cape Coast Road to Takoradi. No car will go. We'll block the other side. You know, interestingly, the regional minister for Central Region at that time, say Kojo Nyanka or one of those Nyankas, was an Adisadel old boy. So they had to call him. He had to drive all the way from his residence just to come and speak our language. You understand? When he speaks our language, then you find us all moving our way. Or during inter schools or super zonals like that. I think because of COVID, you may not experience it, but those were very fun times as well. Where, you know, the technical schools, they are big boys naturally, and they have their T-squares, and so sometimes they come to accord with all those things. And sometimes when we feel that they are bullying us too much, we'll fight back. You know, those ones are there, but as a school and demonstration and things like that, I never experienced it. But it has happened in some schools that we know.
I had one in my own. When we went to school, they told us that when Kofi Annan was in school, he actually rioted.
Oh, okay.
And he was suspended for the riots.
Him,
Yes,
Kofi Annan.
yes,
Oh,
Kofi
okay.
Annan. And the falling things, we experienced it in our school.
Yeah.
One day a thief came, then they just shouted, falling,
That's
and
why
all
you
the
are dead.
boys were all running with cutlasses.
Where did they get them from?
When you're going to
Yes,
work, you not
we
find
are going to
classes.
school.
Your wife fight is
Yeah, you find that.
That's why cutlass in there.
interesting.
falling from the people are from the top floor. You just see him run down with boxer shorts, crowd. Run down. He's chasing thief. Just one thief. The whole school is chasing. Just one thief.
Yeah.
So those ones, yes, it does happen, but like rioting, like destroying. You know, I mean, a disco is too beautiful for us to destroy.
Yes.
A disco is nasty, Papa.
Right now.
A disco
It's not in
is it's nasty.
I see, but
So how did you know? I mean, like I'm surprised you are not a student.
I've passed by the school before.
by.
Yes, when I'm going home, I pass by a disco.
Oh, but that one you can't see anything.
I see the
Oh,
school.
but
You
it's on
see
the
the
hill,
entrance
so
of the
what
school.
do we see?
Eh,
Oh, we
and the
see.
school,
I want to
because
say
of the
nice
buildings on the
thing.
hill, you see it. You look, the paints are wearing off. The school looks as
Oh,
if.
but you know, it depends
It's our
on
own
when.
prison.
It depends on when you're seeing it. It happens. So, for example, I am my year group. I am part of the welfare, you know, and we are spearheading whatever we are doing. You know, we have the biggest dining hall in West Africa. You understand?
Yeah.
You can even play indoor soccer there.
Hey.
Very big, and we are doing some renovations to add some touch to it. And so you can understand that within that 1 year, now, after we have hosted the speech and prize giving day, you are sure that you find it in a better state than it was before. So that if we go and we find that there are potholes, we would fill them. If we have to paint, we will paint. So even with our normal homes, sometimes the paint will get to a state, then it dawns on you that you must do renovation, isn't it?
But still,
I don't
all
know
the
why.
boys' schools in Cape Coast, in fact, is the most beautiful.
let's move
Oh, so
into
this is what.
You don't- that is very true.
Okay, so this is what you wanted to say. You
He doesn't want
have said
to
that.
the truth. In fact, is the most beautiful from our domestic side.
let's
Look,
move
when you
on
look at our roads even look. You I saw a picture of my school.
One day, anytime
I
I'm going to Cape Coast, I'll drive you to invite people.
Somebody
You
saw a
do your
picture of my
evaluation
school.
for
Somebody
yourself.
saw a picture of my school and asked me that, is that landing? I said,
Maybe
that's
it
my
was
school.
Don't say
Photoshop.
that.
I said that was my.
Maybe it was
I
Photoshop.
think
my
it's the
school.
nicest, like, in all the Cape Coast schools.
That's in the boys' schools.
Okay,
Ah,
okay.
it's
Let's
See the way he schooled her.
let's move away from that. But you know, some people always they are so creepy. I mean, what are some of the names you give to those people?
Sacri. That's school Sacri.
But is there ever a case where you are overly protecting God's what do you call it? Where you are overly ensuring God's standard. You are being too strict. Are there other people like that at Chelsea?
Yeah.
You know them?
Yeah, I have a friend. As for him, when we are going to work, we have in our school we have this term called frepping. That's actually absenting yourself from school gatherings and other things. When they call Form 1 boys to come and work, me number one. I have these seniors. I go to their dormitory. I mean, every day they call Form 1 boys to come and work. I go there, so I won't work some. And then I have this friend. The seniors will call him that. Come, don't go. Come and sleep. He said, no, he has to go and work. He can't, he has to go and work. The seniors will call him, come, put these buckets down and come and sleep. He said, no, I have to go and work. You go and work.
Wow, I see. But do you think that's right? What he's doing is right?
Oh, child, sometimes some rules are there. Oh, child,
just break them.
I was not get any story to say. You finish school and say, I mean, I followed all the rules.
So you are actually saying that you want to break some of the rules, so just so you can have a story to tell.
It's not intentional.
Some rules are there. Some rules are there. They are you can't
yeah.
no speaking pidgin in school. How can you follow this rule? How can you abide by this rule? Whatever you do, this rule, because even the head boy breaks this rule. How much me and me a student?
Yeah, Nancy, you wanted to say something.
Pardon?
You wanted to say something.
Oh no, I was saying that these things doesn't happen in our school.
Girls' school, gay.
Like-
When we are talking about this, gay is not part two. Gay is not part.
Our school was built on God. I think we built our school on the yes. So these things they are saying doesn't happen in our school.
You see one thing about their schools,
Like,
they are good in school.
Wait.
When you go to class and meet Wesley girls students, and that is where you see their true colors.
It's okay.
In school they are good.
Okay.
All right, let's go on a quick break. Where it's getting, you have to go on a quick break, and we'll be back and venture more into this topic on how to stay true to principles in school. Before we went on the break, we were talking about drawing the line between being overly rigid and standing for God and standing for principles. So, Brian, like Achesi said, he has a friend who would always want to go to work. Where do we draw the line between standing for principle and being a bit soft or being overly too rigid? Brian, what do you think?
Okay, in this life, you have to abide by rules, but you can't always abide by rules. You just seem too holy, like. Yeah, pretending you want to be a hypocrite, something like you just have to break some of the rules. Man, it's part of life. Boys, there you have to break rules. Girls,
you want to break rules, go to gay.
Yeah.
Pastor, what do you think about this?
Well, I like he said, it's good to follow rules and regulations. For me in school, I didn't get into any trouble where I had to face disciplinary committee or anything. But from where I stand, I know that I may have outwitted the system. There were a lot of things probably I did that if I was caught, probably I wouldn't have even finished the school, you understand? And from where I sit now, you know, not just as a pastor or a chaplain or anything, but as an elderly person now, from the time I was in school, I would just affirm that it's, I mean, rules and regulations are for our betterment. You understand? But sometimes we make it look like, you know, this is age thing, and you know, sometimes you must break one or two of them, you know. But the point is that ignorance of the law is no excuse. That is a principle that is there. But I'm just saying that yes, in school, when we talk about the school system, whatever it is, one of these days you may miss morning devotion or Sunday worship, or you know, but if it becomes a habit, it is something you grow with, and one day you may have a very responsible position, and you carry those things there. So that is where I draw the line. If it becomes a habit, because I can't say that in my 3 years staying at the Sada, I went to evening service all throughout. I mean, when I was in Adisada, I was not a 7-day Adventist. You get my point. I was not a 7-day Adventist, and those times I was not like the church type thing,
down boy,
you know, kind of thing. So, so from where I stand, from the benefits of hindsight, if I have the opportunity, there are a lot of things probably I did that I wouldn't do. So rules and regulations in schools, they are good, and we must not deliberately want to. But where anytime you say somebody is overly doing something, then it means it is getting into a quite a bad picture. You get my point. Once you want to use extreme or overly and such words, then it means that you are taking the thing to some extent unnecessarily, which may even affect you. Those were the guys, and maybe probably in the girls' school you call them Krife. That's how we call them, you know, Krife. I remember when I was at the Sada, one Sunday in the afternoon or so, I was invited by a friend to join SU. And honestly, I went for yes, that I went for just once, and that was what it was. Like, I went there, I was just looking at them, and I thought all those things they were doing was just making noise, and I didn't really enjoy it. That's the point I'm making. And you know, the kind of thing they do, it's like you walk too sanctimoniously. You don't touch anything. You don't. I didn't know how I was going to do that. You know, and so at a point I felt the pretense was also too much. You know, because we're in the same class. sometimes you hear comments people pass, you know, and all of a sudden you find them in another mood. I'm saying, Charlie. But I was not really excited when I went there for the first time. So, but those people are people will call Crife and other stuff. But as I sit here, even though it was not so exciting for me, because one, I was not even used to it in the first place. Okay, I think there are still some bits in there that I could have gleaned. Well, I don't know why I didn't take that opportunity, but as it were, I didn't bother myself till I finished, you know, at the Saturday.
I see, but there's something that's a bit tricky. You pronounce on people doing something that is wrong. Do you keep quiet, or do you go and chook?
Boys, you want to get chook.
We use mesh to eat your
but
head.
you don't know. You don't know. So is it that you sort of create a society that encourages people to do evil and we cover up for them, or what? Nancy, what do you think?
No, don't do that. You're supposed to go and report them. Maybe that's why we have prefects. You guys should like. That's why you have prefects. Maybe they won't take it so hard on them, like how maybe those in or things like how they maybe the headmistress someone takes on them. They might pardon you or just advise. But maybe if you are taking this to the headmistress, they'll just punish you this away. But then the prefects that maybe like, oh, don't do this again. This is the last one. So you don't encourage it. You report them.
Perfect.
But sometimes, you know, you check the degree of whatever the person did
Prefects
before you
don't
go
take
and do
it
that.
serious.
Yes.
Prefects will pardon you.
Actually, what do you
Yes,
think?
they pardon.
The prefects in the school,
The
they behave as if
teachers.
their school is for them, as if them, the whole world, they have the power.
Because they do.
Prefects. It's better you report to the housemaster and put on the prefect. Because prefects. And one thing, that thing, it's like some kind of brotherhood thing. You don't check your. Even I remember one day a senior, we were talking. I think I was speaking PG or something, and the senior came. He was speaking PG. We all kept quiet. Said 5, 4 was speaking PG. One guy choked me. The senior went to Lashina. Why you choke your bro?
Wow.
Yeah, you see.
So we sort of create a society that frowns on reporting, and we rather embrace people doing wrong in school.
It's not like
I'll say
it's like
embrace.
it's just like we are brothers. Don't sell me out. You know, so I sell out. You sell out. I will make shit. So Charlie.
I see, Brian. How about you in your school?
My school there. I don't even want.
Do you guys report? But why not? I mean,
We report to, but some things are there. You just don't have to say it. Like your brother is using a phone. Eventually, you also go and think that, oh, maybe I want to call or something.
Charlie,
So
why they go
report
check
and
your
take your phone?
Why they go check
Your body has bound you.
I see. I see, Pastor.
Well, this phone example, I didn't get to experience it because at that time, it was not as you would find it now. But you see, there is something we call student solidarity. So like in class, you see somebody makes some funny statement or noise, and the teacher asks, who did that? And everybody is dead silent. You know, those are what we call student solidarity. And like he said, so the senior maybe would be a believer of that. So it means that. So, but in Adisada, my time, and I still think it's there. It has become a tradition of a sort. If they label you as a chuka, you won't get any position in the school. Nothing. Like you are like reporting everybody. Like, so you report and people get into trouble. You know, in schools you get to find that kind of situation. But you see, in that kind of environment, I would not, like he said, one of you said, spoke about the fact that it was you, the magnitude of what is prevailing will tell you what to do, all right? But the principle is there that if I find Brian doing something and, you know, I can speak to him to stop, that's also part of the helping ourselves agenda, all right? It may not be necessarily going to the housemaster and reporting, but look at the case. It could be hypothetical, but the thing is that somebody you get to know that a friend wants to burn a whole building, okay? And you are in the known of it. What would you do? All right. So maybe as and when, but issues like phone. If you won't report, why do you also go to use? And you see that is scary. What it does is that with time we cannot tell people the wrong they do any longer. If we want to thrive on that tangent that, well, one day I may also need to call dad at home because of an emergency. But when the school is putting that regulation in place that you will not bring phone to school, we know clearly that the school has made provision for emergency. So sometimes people even go to their house masters. People even go to their class teachers or even the administration. Or I remember those times when the phone booth thing has started. So the phone booth were there, and there were times in the day that we could go with your card, and then you could place call to your daddy and your mommy. So it's not as though the school will say you won't use phone, and the school will close their eye to the fact that there are emergency situations where you may want to talk to somebody at home. The school has made that provision. So if even I won't report, I won't use it, because the point is that if I am caught, I'll also be in trouble. So why don't I take advantage of the provision the school has made? I mean, what is wrong is wrong. And we must be weary of that. Well, this is a school thing, Charlie. This one will be school thing. Everybody they do some, make her do some, then Charlie go my way. You may not know when you will do it, and you would be in trouble. And we've seen some people driven out of school in some of these cases. So for me, my position is that we must be careful and must be ready to follow rules and regulations, especially if it is something for our betterment. You know, all those things we go through in school, they are to shape us. They are to shape us. I have seen friends who we did undergrad with at Valley View, and I knew how they spoke against the system, you know, and Valley View, and then some people even said Valley View was an SHS and all of that, okay? But it was funny because I remember some students died in Legon when they were in Legon. Apparently they had gone out without exit and things like that. And they had a gory accident. And now the parents cannot hold the school because they knew they had to take exit. And people were like, oh, so even Legon, they take exit. Or you have to write for permission of a sort to go to. It is there. Just that Valley View is enforcing that kind of thing. So they will make ridicule of that. But you know that on Facebook, there are a lot of them who are holding very responsible positions in their institutions. And they go back to Valley View, and you see how grateful they are, you know, to have gone through the system at Valley View, and it's shaping them. For example, there was a speech and it was a graduation. And that graduation, you know, we scrub our bathhouses. So, like if it is room 13, room 12, you have been shown one bathhouse where you would work. And you know, so that Sunday we were doing our washing, doing our scrubbing, and there was this military man who came around, and he got to talk to me, and he asked me, so you do all these things yourself, like you scrub your bathhouse? And I said, yes. He says, the next semester my son is coming here, and he brought the son to Valley View.
The son will very important.
You know, but so the point is that unlike like UCC, you know, where I had to do some other programs there. In the morning, you find people have come to work in the bathhouse and the toilets and everything, and they are gone. You see how people are rushing to go, because by 1 hour the place will be in a mess and nobody can use it. So everybody is waiting for. But can you imagine a system where, and actually it's throughout the Adventist schools. Adventist school, we believe in a holistic education. You don't just go and do your certificate and leave. But actually, we're looking at a whole lot of things. So when you are alone, you are done with school, you are alone, and you have not gotten married and everything. How do you do, what do you do to your battles? You employ people to come and do it for you. You understand? Very simple, basic things. We should be able to do it, and it will help. So people enjoyed that, and now you see in their schools, in their workplaces, they are enjoying and they are giving testimonies of value. So rules and regulations, they are good. You can outweigh them, but the day you are caught, you regret them.
All right, that was a very interesting one. I'm sure you've all been blessed by this one. I mean, if not for anything at all, you've seen a Botre and a disco boy fighting over their schools. I'm sure if we didn't cut this short, they would go on and on and on. But we're grateful you could join us. Thank you so much for making time to watch our episode. Pastor Nimako, we are grateful for your time. Our panelists, you can continue your discussion after the show. But God bless you all, and stay home, stay safe, and stay blessed. God bless you.